Embattled director of the Caddo Parish Animal Services is off the job tonight after resigning, but he's still being paid following a pricey independent investigation that you, the taxpayers, paid for. An investigation we may never know the results of.
All right, let's take you back in time. You may remember Everett Harris admitted posting this disturbing image to the official Caddo Parish Animal Services Facebook page. It shows dogs up for adoption with the Star of David and Nazi symbols drawn over their faces and heads. Harris claims it was a mistake. Regardless, it landed him on paid leave with a third-party investigator while that person looked into whether he violated policy.
Tonight in a KSLA News 12 investigation, Victoria Shirley looks into how this controversial social media mistake ended up costing taxpayers nearly $6,000.
It all started with this controversial social media post posted on the Caddo Animal Services Facebook page, showing a newspaper clipping of dogs up for adoption with hate symbols drawn on the image.
Why would you post something that offensive?
Then Animal Services Director Everett Harris, who admitted to posting the image as a mistake, is put on leave.
It's nothing meant to harm anybody.
Animal advocates protest for Harris to be fired.
Everett Harris has to go!
A third-party investigator is hired to look into Harris's alleged unprofessional behavior. The investigation wraps and Harris's resignation is announced. And now, 2 months after it all started, the investigation into his behavior remained shrouded in secrecy, leaving unanswered questions for many, including Harris supporter and Shreveport City Councilman Willie Bradford.
I was asking myself, an investigation for what?
Parish Administrator Dr. Woody Wilson still cites an ongoing personnel matter as a reason not to divulge our repeated requests for information. We had to submit several public record requests to even get the documents needed to learn consultant Gayla Godfrey is responsible for the investigation, and by the time she turned in her receipts, it all cost taxpayers nearly $6,000.
I think it was, in my opinion, with what I know, I think it was mishandled.
We're now learning Harris feels the same way as Bradford. Through a public records request, KSLA News 12 obtained a text message conversation from Harris to Dr. Wilson, dated October 16. The same day, Wilson claims Harris resigned. In the text, Harris writes in part, quote, "You are allowing this situation to get out of control, and I'm being made out to be the bad guy." He goes on to say, "You could fix this problem easy, and you're only thinking of yourself," end quote.
I know that you said there's a lot you can't talk about on camera.
Dr. Wilson refused our request for a sit-down interview to respond, so we confronted him.
I need your response about Harris's comment, how you would let the whole situation get out of control.
I'm not going to respond to that because that was his opinion, and I'm not going to dispute his opinion. But it was handled right, so I'm not going to do that.
But in an unexpected twist, off camera, but on the record, Harris told KSLA News 12 there's no resignation letter and he never actually resigned. He claims he was simply told by Wilson via text message his resignation would be announced.
So did he resign or not? Parish Attorney Henry Bernstein admits there is no resignation letter, but that this text message you see right here serves as his resignation, where it appears Harris is telling Dr. Wilson that he would like to resign effective December 1st. But it doesn't clearly show when Harris sent this text message and the context in which it was sent. We did request the full text thread between Harris and Wilson, but our requests were denied. Bernstein says that the prior text messages contained personal, confidential information.
Mr. Harris did resign. Are we going to move forward?
We've made several attempts to reach out again to Harris, but have not heard back. Regardless of whether Harris chose to resign or was forced to, taxpayers are still on the hook for a nearly $6,000 investigation, and those results still have not been released. Bradford doesn't believe the investigation was the best use of public money.
Why was they investigating something that was already admitted to?
While animal advocate Samantha Schuster is not a supporter of Harris, she echoes Bradford's opinion of the investigation.
I think the investigation honestly was a waste of money, and it was a waste of time.
But human resource managers we spoke with in the private sector say it is standard practice to do a full-scale investigation when problems arise with employees.
And normally outside consultants are hired when it's a senior level employee.
Centenary College Human Resources Director EDIE Cummings explains HR professionals must be careful and follow specific steps when it comes to either firing or asking an employee to resign.
If someone's been employed for a long time and they've gotten great performance reviews and then you terminate them, you stand a bigger risk of maybe getting a wrongful law charge against you.
Peggy Blunt is the Human Resources Manager with software development company PARISH. She says doing a fair and thorough investigation is needed to sometimes avoid legal trouble.
$6,000 would be much cheaper than a wrongful termination lawsuit in the end.
Though Harris's resignation was announced October 16th, he will continue receiving a paycheck until December 1st because of what Wilson calls protected leave. Wilson told us he couldn't explain what protected leave is because it would be against the law to discuss the matter beyond the employee. But our experts have this take on it.
Protected leave usually has something to do if there is a contract in place, and it's usually for a senior employee. And they may have made an agreement when they were hired that if something happened that they would be given X number of days pay or anything like that.
Wilson says he will take his time looking for the right replacement.
It's over. We'd like to move forward.
In the meantime, Interim Director Chuck Wilson is running the animal shelter. In Caddo Parish, Victoria Shirley, KSLA News 12.
We have made multiple attempts to reach out to Everett Harris to do a sit-down interview after he made claims to us that he never resigned. He has not returned our phone calls.
All right, documents reveal the third-party investigator completed her investigation on September 15th. But Dr. Wilson didn't announce the investigation was complete until nearly a month later, the week of October 12th. So why the gap? Well, Dr. Wilson says it's because other private personnel matters, which are part of the investigative employment process, didn't end until the week of October 12th. Well, you can read the full text message yourself. That whole thread between Harris and Dr. Wilson online, KSLA.com.